How do you increase your focus, your ability to stay focused longer?
You are your own hero. You are your own leader. You are your own master.
To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on, the ghost of the talents you didn't use, and they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they said.
No one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. Nobody's coming to tell you to apply for that job that you've always dreamt about.
Life is always happening for you, not to you. If you believe it's happening to you, of course it is. You look for what's wrong is always available. But if you train yourself to look for what's right and you find it.
Today I need you to embrace what comes hard. Today I need you to accept the challenge. Today I need you to fall in love with the process.
And ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really want? And write it down. Writing causes thinking. Thinking creates an image. And you get these images going, you're building a vision in your mind.
When you quit, your mind does this, because you're out. Once you say, I'm not going to quit, this is the 40%. When you quit, your mind says, we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, F you, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. Small minds and weak people kill big dreams. You might have clear goals and be working on yourself every day. But if you have the wrong folks around you, there's a good chance they could be sucking the life right out of you and making sure that you go nowhere. When I select my crew, I'm not looking for elite runners to pace me. I look for individuals with a foxhole mentality.
If you keep up your present disciplines and keep up the present pace that you're on, where will you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, hey, I haven't really thought about that. So now make this note. In 5 years, here's the probability. You will either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, and by a challenge, I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking.
Repeat that for me. From testimonials and personal experience, we have enough information to conclude. I'll let you write it down. We have enough information to conclude. So repeat for me. We have enough information to conclude.
A distracted person lacks energy. And when they get to the thing they need to be focusing in on, they don't have the energy to give. But when a person says, no, this is the one thing I'm going to do, and they set their mind to it, they set their eyes on it, they set their hand to do it, all of a sudden energy begins to fill their life. Why? Because what you focus on, what you concentrate on, what you desire to accomplish,
the constant commitment to putting something in the world of value, as long as you can stay focused on delivering your art and delivering yourself and delivering your energy and delivering your ideas for the world to be better.
Neglect starts as an infection. And if you don't take care of it, it becomes a disease. And one neglect leads to another. And the worst of all, when neglect starts, it diminishes our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-value. You say, well, how can I get back my self-respect? I'm telling you, you don't have to go to 29 classes. All you have to do is start the smallest discipline that now corresponds to your own philosophy, like I should, and I could, and I will.
You won't be the person sitting on the curb crying or feeling sorry or drugging yourself up. You'll be like, I'm going to crush it, and I'm going to find the good in this. It's not good on the surface.
Everybody wants to fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. That's what you're looking for.
Of the 4 men who joined Kish and me in Moab, only one had ever done an ultra before, and 2 others barely ran 20 miles a week. Therefore, it is crucial that you be careful about who you invite in. Whether you are at war, competing in a game, or striving in life, you never want someone in your foxhole who lacks faith or will try to steer you away from your full potential by giving you permission to pack it in or wave the white flag when shit looks bleak.
Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking.
And that feeling that I was nowhere near that feeling, I was able to put myself there 1,000,000 times every day. And that feeling of like, my God, that is going to feel amazing. That's what made me suffer.
If you were composing this, I don't know what you would write after this. We have enough information to conclude that it's possible. Jot that down, that it's possible. If you're flying on an airplane, the flight attendant says if for some reason we run out of oxygen, these oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling, and if you have children with you, quickly take care of them, then take care of yourself.
So, what's your target? What's your goal? Whatever it is, focus. Trust me, the energy will come.
To become the best person you could be for others.
The will is one of our higher faculties. We have perception, memory, intuition, reason, and we have the will. The will to the mind is not like hearing or sight is to the body. All great golfers, all the really great golfers, have highly evolved will. They have developed the ability to focus.
You can either live your dreams or live your fears. And I think the majority of people actually are not living their dreams, but are living their fears. We all have something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. We'll begin to push you past the fear. Your hunger to have them will give you a special drive. As you work on yourself, as you begin to acknowledge your true identity, the true power that you have, the true capacity you have to bring about change, the miracle-working power that you have within yourself.
The way to improve lives is to continually improve yourself. Good people have to get out of the bed every day and try to empty the ocean with a soup spoon, you know, as the mentality of how you wake up every day to try to do good in the world.
What if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? What if I told you you died this week? Would you complain about your crap job or that test you don't want to take? I doubt it. You would go much higher level thinking.
Taking responsibility for whatever happens to you. Knowing that you have consciously made the decisions that are now affecting you.
In addition to power eating and spraying cockroaches, I did a lot of searching after I left the Air Force at 24 years old. I was looking for my place in the world and tried on different personas and subcultures.
I recommended the last time I was here, the little book, Richest Man in Babylon, and I said, I've lectured now to over 3 million people. Guess how many have actually gone and got this little book? Answer, very few. My best guess is 10%. Such an easy thing to do. This little book, number one, is easy to find. Number two, it's easy to buy. The most you can pay for it, $6, $7, $8. You can borrow that from your kids. So, to join with someone now, you must produce enough for yourself, for your partner. Now, is that it? And the answer is no. How about children? Let us have children. That's a unique experience. So now if the man has a wife and now he has children, here's the challenge: to produce enough for himself and his family.
You know what happens is we make too many excuses. All right, and what happens is when you have so many excuses, just say an excuse is, let's say it weighs 1 pound.
Now you might not want to put a dot on the wall. Light a candle and put it opposite your favorite chair. And then just focus on the flame. Every time your mind wanders from the flame, don't feel bad, bring it right back and focus on the flame. When you learn to focus on one thing, you can focus on anything, because what you're doing is developing a mental faculty. Now, the average individual can only focus on a thing for 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, and then they're distracted. There's a noise, a light, something flashes, somebody says something, and like that, their mind is taken off track.
To do the things that you want to do.
When you start to connect to your true nature, suddenly there's energy available for you to set a higher standard for what you want in your life. That's what this is really all about.
Your number one job is to become more of yourself and to grow yourself into the best of yourself.
Well, that's really what it takes. It takes understanding that if you're not pumped right now, if you're begrudging what you're about to do, if you're not looking forward to it, look, I respect practicality. You gotta go through school because your parents want to. You gotta pay your rent. You got student loans. I get it. But please recognize the world we're living in. We're living in a world where there's so much more opportunity. This internet thing created way more opportunity for all of us. Way more. I mean, look, you might not even be alive. Like, your mom and dad could have had sex like 3 minutes later and you wouldn't even exist, and you're complaining. You could have ended up being a bus, a tree. I just don't get the mentality of being head down sad on a Monday morning. I'm gonna make Monday morning I'm gonna make you Saturday Monday morning. That's what I want to do every morning. That's what I want from you.
Knowing that what is happening now, today, is the direct result of your activity, what you did yesterday. Now, being self-reliant doesn't mean you can't work with others or trust others. Self-reliance means counting on yourself, trusting yourself, being confident with yourself, being responsible to yourself, trusting your own instincts. Being self-reliant doesn't mean that you can't work with or trust others. In fact, it can make you a much more valuable teammate, partner, friend. Self-reliance means counting on yourself, trusting yourself.
I think that that's the level that we need to educate people. I hope It Takes What It Takes basically is an introduction to self-help. That when I look at mindfulness being the brand and Headspace being $1 billion valuation, and I sit there and think at 44 years old and growing up on this my whole life, the only time I can meditate is at the end of church. It's such a challenging skill. And is it important? Absolutely, it's important. Are affirmations important? Absolutely, they're important. Are changing from the inside out important? Yes, but they're not the starting points. Don't say stupid shit out loud. Be mindful of what you consume. If I watch 3 minutes of news, it increases my probability by 27%. I'm going to say I had a shitty day.
Most of the men I recruited into the SEALs confided that their wives, girlfriends, or parents were dead set against something they wanted more than anything in the world. That can be extremely stressful when you are striving to be you, especially when it involves pushing your limits of pain and suffering or sacrificing life and limb. You do not need to deal with trying to make everybody happy at the same time. When you are conflicted like that, your internal dialogue becomes counterproductive.
You got to be consciously conscious today, because your environment can hypnotize, mesmerize, and paralyze you.
One of my weak points in my personal life is I don't like technical stuff. So even though I have to be on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, I don't care for that. So guess what? I find somebody who loves to do that.
Bill Russell was a player who wanted to take responsibility for the success or failure of his team. He wanted the weight on his shoulders in a situation like this. No possibility for excuses, no possibility of blaming anyone else if the game was lost, no second guessing. Bill Russell wanted the ball in his own hands
and nobody else's. And like magic, even if he'd missed every free throw he'd ever shot in his life before this, he knew he was going to make this one. And that is exactly what happened. That is what virtually always happens when a man or woman accepts responsibility eagerly and with confidence.